Okay, so here's something interesting. Online shoppers last year spent a full $40 million just on pet care products, specifically flagged as sustainable.
Wow. Yeah, 40 million. That's quite a signal, isn't it?
It really is. And it makes you think, are we, really ready for what's next? Like these biotech ingredients people are talking about.
Yeah.
Could they be the big thing in 2025?
It definitely shows how fast things are moving. We see these echoes from human food trends, sure, but the pet food world has its own momentum, its own unique trajectory.
Exactly. So that's what this deep dive is all about. We're focusing hard on figuring out what will really define success in pet food next year, in 2025. We've gone through a lot of recent industry analysis, and the aim here is to give you a really concise, high-impact brief.
Packed with signals, data, things you can actually use.
Right. For your brand strategy, your e-commerce plans, product innovation, all that. The goal is simple. Give you the insights to stay ahead of the curve.
And I think a big theme that keeps coming up is this alignment. How we think about our own food and health, and how that's translating directly to how we approach our pets' nutrition. The expectations are really starting to merge.
So let's start there. What does quality even mean to pet owners today? Because it feels like it's way beyond just, the star ingredient on the bag.
Oh, absolutely. It's much more nuanced now. Innovam Market Insights actually paints a pretty clear picture. When people, consumers, think about quality, they're balancing a whole bunch of factors.
Like what?
Well, price, obviously, that's always there. But also perceived freshness, the actual health benefits they expect, nutritional content, shelf life, safety, feeling safe about the product.
Yeah.
And also naturalness and even the brand's reputation itself. It's like they're doing this complex calculation in their heads.
Which sounds exactly like what we do when we're grocery shopping, right? And it seems pet owners are applying that exact same lens now.
Precisely. We're seeing this demand for, let's call it holistic quality. It's not just the ingredient list, though clean labels are definitely key.
Right.
It's also about whether the pet actually likes the food, the palatability, and more, the environmental footprint. Sustainability is weaving its way into that quality definition.
It also feels like personalization is becoming a bigger deal, not just for us, but, for our pets too. This idea of precision wellness.
That's a great way to put it. Precision wellness is definitely gaining traction. People have so much information now right at their fingertips, and they're looking for targeted solutions.
So beyond just puppy food or senior food.
Exactly. Age-specific is just the start. We're seeing demand for food tailored to lifestyle-active dogs, indoor cats, breed-specific needs, maybe even addressing specific health sensitivities. It directly mirrors the personalized nutrition trends we see for humans.
Okay, so the desire for top-tier personalized food is strong.
Yeah.
But we have to talk about the economy. How are financial pressures affecting these choices?
Yeah, that's a really critical tension right now, aspiration versus affordability. The data shows pet owners are definitely being more careful with their spending.
So trading down.
Some might be, yes, opting for more budget-friendly choices. But even then, they're still focused on value. They want to feel like they're getting good quality for their money, not necessarily just the cheapest option. They don't want to feel like they're compromising on the essentials for their pet.
Which means the premium and super premium segments, they might be feeling the pinch from this petflation.
Exactly. That's the tension. Inflation hits household budgets, and even though people love their pets, those really high-end categories might face some tough questions from consumers.
But what about sustainability? Does that get pushed aside when budgets are tight?
It's a bit mixed. Price is definitely a barrier for some, maybe around 40% globally, according to some studies. But at the same time, we see that $40 million figure for online sustainable sales.
Yeah.
So there's clearly a dedicated and growing group that prioritizes it, even if it costs more. And transparency becomes huge here. Something like 42% of pet owners actively want sustainably sourced ingredients. They want to know where it comes from.
And you can't forget convenience. That always seems to be a factor.
Always. People are busy. Many are willing to pay a bit extra for convenience. That could be easy-to-serve formats, single portions, or those subscription boxes that just show up at the door. Makes life easier.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk tech. Technology in pet care feels like it's really moving beyond just novelty now.
Oh, absolutely. It's becoming integral. It's pretty fascinating how tech is empowering owners, giving them tools to be more proactive about their pet's health. We're seeing way more use of wearables, apps, tracking activity, sleep, you name it.
And the data feeds back into nutrition.
Exactly. All that data creates demand for smarter, more data-informed nutrition. We're moving towards truly personalized feeding plans, not just general guidelines.
And maybe even using biotech. You mentioned that earlier.
Yes, that's where things get really interesting. Think about tailored probiotics, maybe designed for a pet-specific gut microbiome based on testing, or specialized enzyme blends to help with digestion. The potential for really fine-tuning nutrition is growing fast.
It really does sound like human health tech finding its way into the pet world.
You hit the nail on the head. And it's not just nutrition. Tech is making other things easier, too. Booking vet visits via apps, remote health monitoring. It's creating this whole connected ecosystem around the pet.
Now, on a slightly different note, maybe more cautionary, we also looked at the Pet Poison Helpline's latest list, the top toxins for 2024. It's a good, sobering reminder.
It really is, and it underscores why owner education and just being vigilant is so important. For dogs, the usual culprits are still high up. Chocolate, grapes, raisins.
Still number one.
Chocolate is still number one for dogs, yes. But interestingly, bromethylene, which is a type of rat poison, has climbed up the list, and we still see xylitol, ibuprofen, marijuana, or THC products, certain rodenticides, too much vitamin D3, even things like carprofen and NSAID if overdosed, and onions and related plants.
And the list for cats looks quite different, doesn't it?
Very different. For cats, lilies are just overwhelmingly the biggest issue. Number one by a wide margin. Then you see chocolate, onions, chives, leeks, shallots, the whole family.
Garlic, too?
Garlic, yes. Ibuprofen is also up there for cats. Even the Peruvian lily Alstroemeria, which is less toxic than true lilies, but still causes issues. Vitamin D3 overdose again, some amphetamines, carprofen overdoses, and even tulips. It really highlights how different their sensitivities are.
And marijuana, you mentioned for dogs.
Yeah.
Still in the top 10, even if cases dip slightly.
That's right. There was a huge jump in reported marijuana cases for dogs between, say, 2019 and 2023. It came down a tiny bit in 2024, but it's still firmly in that top 10 list. So awareness about exposure, whether it's accidental or not, is still really crucial.
Okay, so pulling all these threads together, these signals about quality, cost, tech, safety, what are the absolute must-dos for pet food brands looking to win in 2025?
Well, if we synthesize all this, I think the first major imperative is to embrace holistic quality and transparency. It's just not enough to talk about basic nutrition anymore.
Go deeper.
Exactly. Brands have to proactively communicate the whole picture: ingredient quality, where they come from, sourcing practices, sustainability efforts. That's how you build trust with consumers who are, frankly, getting smarter and more demanding.
Makes sense. Okay, what's number two?
The second big one is to leverage data and technology for personalization and engagement. Figure out how to use all this pet health data that's becoming available. Can you offer more tailored recommendations?
Use the tech.
Use the tech. Partner with wearable companies, maybe. Develop your own digital tools. Find ways to connect with owners and offer value beyond just the food itself. That builds engagement, loyalty.
Right. And the final key takeaway. The third imperative.
The third one is really about driving innovation and functionality and convenience, but never, ever compromising on safety. Keep exploring those novel ingredients, the functional benefits targeting key concerns like joint health, gut health, skin, and coat.
Things people worry about.
Exactly. Offer formats that fit busy life, easy delivery. But underlying all that innovation has to be an absolute, unwavering focus on safety. Knowing about these toxins, ensuring rigorous quality control that builds the fundamental confidence you need.
Those are really clear, actionable points for brand managers planning for next year. This whole deep dive really puts the evolving market into perspective.
And what's striking is how interconnected it all is, isn't it? The demand for quality ties into health awareness, which ties into sustainability, and tech is amplifying and enabling all of it.
Absolutely. It all feeds into each other.
Right.
So I guess the big closing thought, the question for everyone listening is, as these lines keep blurring between how we care for ourselves and how we care for our pets, how is your brand going to position itself? How will you meet those evolving needs, address those deep concerns of today's pet parent?
That's the challenge and the opportunity right there.